Hello friends, in this video tutorial I will show you the technique of coloring a bobo balloon from the inside. I will tell you which paints it is better to use. You will learn many interesting points, so let's get started. I prepared a colored bobo balloon in advance for comparison. The colors inside this balloon are mixed. Bob's balloon itself was pink in color. This gave an external shade. Now I'm painting a regular transparent bobo balloon with the same colors as pink, but using a different technique, and we'll compare two bobo balloons. So, first I cover the work surface with paper towels. Paints can ruin the table, paint your clothes, so you need to be very careful. I want to warn you that the paint usually does not wash off clothes. Separately, I also prepared a couple of small pieces of napkins for emergencies. I also prefer to use disposable gloves so that my hands are not stained. I use acrylic paint to color balloons. This is not some special paint, it is the most common and one of the most inexpensive acrylic paints. This is not an advertisement, I'm showing you what I really use. What you need to pay attention to is the shelf life of the paint. I also prefer matte paint because metallic or glossy paint does not have such a rich color. Before I put the paint inside, I do not pre-inflate the bobo balloon. For convenience, I bend the nose of the balloon to the back side. I do this in order not to stain the nose with paint, and it will be easier for me to tie a balloon. It is very convenient to fill the balloon with paint from a medical syringe. Well, I'll show you one more technique in case there was no syringe. I use 10 milliliter medical syringes. I put the nozzle of the syringe in a tube of paint. I put a little pressure on the paint and start typing it into the syringe. Now I'll show you what I do if I don't have a syringe. I use a cocktail tube. First I cut it off from the corrugated part. Then I clean the tube of old paint. Now I apply glue around the stick and glue it to the tube. It is necessary to apply the glue in such a way that the glue does not get inside the tube and does not interfere with the exit of the paint. Why do I need to add a little glue between the tube and wait a little for the glue to dry? I have prepared the tubes. Now I'm going to put a balloon stick on the syringes. Be sure to control the length of the wand. Its length should be enough for it to fit completely into the balloon. The diameter of the stick is larger than the diameter of the syringe, so I seal it a little with a hot glue gun. So, I'm ready to fill the balloon with paints. First, decide for yourself how you want the paint to look inside the ball. The paint can be mixed, the paint can be distributed in separate layers, and you can also paint over the balloon in parts. It depends on which specific places you need to pour the paint. It is very important to understand that when two different colors come into contact, you will get a third color scheme. For example, if you put yellow and blue next to each other, then the borders will form a green color. To distribute the paint, using the usual plastic card. First, I use a tube of paint. I use a napkin to hold the place where I glued the cocktail stick to the tube. I decided to fill the balloon with layers without mixing the colors inside. I fill a bobo balloon with paints closer to the seam. The volume of paint in each color is about 5 milliliters. Pull the tube of paint or the syringe of paint out of the balloon very quickly so as not to stain the walls of the balloon. When you pull out the tube or syringe, do not put pressure on them so that the paint does not come out at the time of pulling out. So, the paint inside now wipe the neck of the balloon with a napkin so that the paint does not interfere tying the balloon. So, the paint is inside. Once again, I want to draw your attention to the amount of paint. Some of the paint remains in the sticks. About 5 milliliters of paint of each color gets inside the balloon. When distributing the paint, I first move all the layers of paint closer to the seam so that there is no transparent space left. Then, I move the paints to the opposite seam. In general, this process is very creative, and you can distribute the paint as you wish. I have completely distributed the paint inside the ball. Look at what the places where the paint did not get into will look like. Everything is ready. It remains only to inflate the balloon. Never inflate a balloon larger than its factory size. After pressurization, I twist the neck of the balloon several times, pull out the tail and make 2 knots. The ball is ready, and now compare 2 balls inside which have the same colors of paints. The only difference is that in the first case I used a pink bobo balloon and mixed the paints inside. In the second case I have a transparent balloon and the paints are distributed in layers without mixing. This lesson has come to an end. Thank you for watching us.